Are Facebook groups dead? If I'm just starting my coaching practice, should I have a Facebook group? Do I need a Facebook group? What do I need it for? How do I get clients from a Facebook group? So this mini training video is for you if you are a practitioner or a coach and you are starting your coaching business online and you're wondering if Facebook groups are a viable strategy for you to get clients. I am going to tell you my answer and I'm going to break it all down for you in this mini training. So I should start off by saying that I have many free Facebook groups. I have been online growing my coaching business since 2012. I've had at least one, if not multiple Facebook groups since 2014. So for 10 years, I have been running and growing Facebook groups, and I have enrolled hundreds upon hundreds of clients and made millions of dollars. I believe in part because I have had a community that I lead and facilitate that is filled with my ideal clients. So, is a Facebook group the only strategy that I use? No, but it is one of the strategies that I use. So let's talk about what you're going to get out of this video. If you are a practitioner or coach and you are just getting started online, I think you're probably wondering if you should start a Facebook group to help you get clients. In this video, I'm going to break it down for you so that you can make a decision if it is a worthy investment of your time. Not money because it's free. And so I'm going to break this video down into 3 parts. Part 1, the non-sexy must-haves. Part 2, the Facebook group setup. And part number 3, the client getting strategy. So by the end of this video, you will be able to decide for yourself if having a free Facebook group is something that you should be executing as you are starting and growing your coaching business. And if you are new to this channel, hello, I am Lori Kennedy. I am the founder of the Wellness Business Hub and the creator of the Zero to Clients program. And we work with practitioners and coaches who are just getting started online and are at the very beginning stages of building their coaching program and their coaching business. So if that is you, make sure you subscribe. Please hit that subscribe button and click that bell so that you get notified of videos that I put on this channel every single week. All right. So we're talking about whether or not you should use a Facebook group to start and grow your online coaching business. And in full transparency, I've used Facebook groups for a decade. I started my first Facebook group in 2014. I don't even know how many Facebook groups I've created since then. Having a free Facebook group, mine is the Empowered Practitioner Community. Having a free Facebook group has always been, since 2014, part of my client getting strategy. And so I'm going to teach you in this video exactly what I do, how I've been able to grow Facebook groups. The one that I had before this one grew to about 30,000 people, which blows my mind. The one that I am currently facilitating has over 15,000. I have another Facebook group of over 16,000. So I have been doing this for a long time, and I know a thing or two about starting and growing Facebook groups and using them to not only get clients, but also to provide nurture and education and empowerment to large communities, because not everybody in your Facebook group is going to become a client. And so we want to make sure that we are still providing a level of value and education and empowerment to those people who choose to be a member of your community. And so the question you might be asking yourself is, are Facebook groups dead? You know, is my ideal client even on Facebook? And the thing that I want to remind you about is that at the time of filming this, which is June 2024, Facebook has about 3 billion, with a B, billion monthly active users. So then I Googled the global population, and the global population is 8.1 billion. So a little less than half of the global population is active on a monthly basis on Facebook. So given that you need about 60 to 80 clients per year to make a good living, and less than that if you increase your fees, I'm fairly certain that Facebook is a viable client getting option for you. And so that's why I am a firm believer that you should have a Facebook group. Now, the thing that I will say is that practitioners and coaches often do Facebook groups wrong. And so I'm going to give you my strategies so that you can do them right. And as I said before, I broke this video down into 3 parts. So part number 1, the non-sexy must-haves. Part number 2, the Facebook group setup. And part number 3, the client getting strategy. So I want to dive right on in, but I want to do a little bit of context first for those of you that are super new. So we work with practitioners and coaches who are complete newbies. A lot of them don't even have Instagram yet or are really using Instagram properly. A lot of them don't even have a Facebook business page. So what I want to do before I dive into the 3 parts is I want to make sure that you are super clear on what a Facebook group is. So I'm actually going to take you onto Facebook. As soon as it loads for me. Facebook seems to be a little slow today. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to take you and I'm going to show you the difference between a Facebook personal page, a Facebook business page, and a Facebook group. Because what we are talking about is creating a Facebook group that you can use to attract ideal clients. They would then join as a member, and now they are inside of this group, this container where you can then nurture them and get them to know you and like you and move them to the next stage of your lead to client journey. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And you are going to see my Facebook personal page. So this is my Facebook personal page. And you know that it's my personal page because personal pages collect friends. So keep that in mind. If you start to get confused, Facebook personal collects friends. So then when I go up here to this circle, and you can see that it sort of says switch to. So now I'm going to switch to my business page. For me, I have the same profile, right? I have the same profile cover so that if I'm posting, people can't really tell. Mine says the same. It's Lori Kennedy. And you know that it's your business page because your business page collects likes. So remember that your personal page collects friends, your business page collects likes, and your Facebook group collects members. So now I'm going to switch back to my personal page because my personal page is the page that hosts my Facebook groups. And we're going to go to my Facebook group, which is the Empowered Practitioner Community. And you're going to see that it says members. So, pop quiz. Personal page collects what? Friends. Business page collects likes, and your Facebook group collects members. So if you get confused, you're like, oh, I don't even know what page I'm on, just go and look for, is it friends, is it likes, or is it members? So this is my current Facebook group. This is where I am attracting ideal clients into. And you can see that we have over 16,000 members in this Facebook group currently. So I wanted to give a little bit of context and a little bit of education around that before we dive into part 1. So part 1, these are the non-sexy must-haves. So what I don't want you to do, and I think this is a mistake that a lot of practitioners and coaches make, is that they'll go and just set up a Facebook group. They won't have any of the non-sexy must-have fundamentals. They won't really have a strategy. Somebody told them that they needed a Facebook group, so they went and they set up a Facebook group and they did it all wrong, and then the Facebook group isn't working for them, and then they think the online thing won't work and they can't get clients from it. So I'm going to go through the non-sexy must-have fundamentals so that you have a better understanding of what you need before you go and set up your Facebook group. Or if you already have a Facebook group, then you can probably go and optimize it based on the training that I'm going to give you in this video. So the first thing is having an intention for the group. So what are you going to use this group for? I use my group to collect leads and to nurture and to ignite conversations. And then I use that group to then move the people in the group, the members, the prospects, to the next stage in the lead to client journey, which for me is some type of marketing campaign like a webinar. And so for you, your intention for your Facebook group will likely be the same. You will use it to collect leads of your ideal clients. You will use it to nurture them and to initiate conversations, because conversations become clients. And so we want to have as many conversations as we possibly can. The more conversations you have, the more clients you get. And so that is the intention for the group. The next couple of things for the group are fundamentals for your coaching business in general. And you make sure that you have them so that your group is an asset. It's not just something that takes up time. It's an asset. So you would need to have your area of specialization, which is basically your niche. It's just a little bit more specific. So the area that you specialize in, for example, when I was a nutritionist, I specialized in weight loss. So my ideal client, which is the next thing that you need your area of specialization, then you need your ideal client. So I specialized in working with menopausal women. That was my ideal client, to help them lose weight. That was my area of specialization. And so we want to have a Facebook group that is very clear who it's for and the painful problem that you are helping them with. We do not want to have a Facebook group that's called the wellness community, because you are going to attract anyone and everyone, and you're not going to be able to get clients from it who want to enroll into your coaching program. And so we want to make sure that the name of the Facebook group and the people that you are attracting into the Facebook group would be a good fit to enroll into your coaching program. And so everything comes from, would this person be a good fit for my coaching program? What am I going to name the Facebook group, and who am I going to attract into it? And you also want a way to collect email addresses. And I'll explain more about that in just a second. But the goal for any social media platform is always to grow your email list, because that is the asset that you own. And so if by some chance your Facebook group gets shut down, then it's not like all of your hard work was for nothing, because you have these people on your email list. And so part one, the non-sexy must-haves, remember that you want to have an intention for your Facebook group. You want to have an area of specialization and an ideal client and a way to collect email addresses. Because if you don't have these things, your group will be general, it'll be generic, and people will just scroll on by. So when you're naming your Facebook group and when you are putting all of the assets together for your Facebook group, it really needs to be specific to your ideal client and demonstrate that it is helpful to solve their persistent, painful problem. Okay, so now we've covered the non-sexy foundational things that you need to have. Now let's go into part two, the Facebook group setup. So it's very important that when you set up your Facebook group that you set it up when you are logged in as your personal page. So you know that it's your personal page, because if you go on it, it is going to collect friends. And so the reason that you want to be logged in under your personal page is because your personal page has your name, and likely your business name has your business name. And so you always want to post inside of your Facebook group as your personal page. And so you want to make sure that it is set up using your personal page. And I'll show you what that looks like. I'm going to go ahead and actually share my screen, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So if we go back to the home page, and you go into groups, which was on the left, and you can create a new group very easily, right? You can see here that it says Lori Kennedy admin, right? So you will be the admin. Now, I know that I'm on my personal page because that's where we left off, but I want you to see what happens when I switch it to my business page, which also says Lori Kennedy, and I did that for this particular reason. But you can see that I'm going to get a notification where it says see page, right? I am now see page. So that's my indication that I am on my personal page. No, my business page, my business page. And I don't want to be on my business page. I want to be on my personal page. The other way to check is to actually go, and this is my business page, right? Because it collects likes. And so now I want to switch back to my personal page because I want to create the Facebook group from my personal page. And you can see you are now acting as Lori Kennedy on Facebook. I'm going to go back to the home. I'm going to go to the group. I'm going to create new group. So I'm going to do it from my personal page. Okay. So that's really important. Next thing, naming your Facebook group. Let's talk about naming your Facebook group. So many practitioners and coaches do this wrong. And they name their Facebook group something cutesy, something that they think resonates. They make up words, and it has nothing to do with the ideal client and the persistent painful problem. Think about how people scroll social media. So Facebook wants people to join your Facebook group. They want to help you grow your group. And so if your group is active, they are going to put your group in front of people that they think, based on all of their data points, would be a good fit and would want to join your group. And so as somebody is scrolling their newsfeed on Facebook, they see the name of your group. And if it's the wellness community and they're not interested in wellness because they have constant migraines, for example, they're going to scroll on by. But if the name of your Facebook group is the migraine support community, then they're probably going to join it. And so we want to make sure that the name of your Facebook group is hyper specific to your ideal client and their persistent painful problem. So here is another example. So it could be perimenopause help for women over 40. That's the name of your Facebook group. It's not your business name. It's not some cutesy name. It's not even your name. It is the descriptor, right? It is the SEO search term that someone would put into Facebook, right? Help for menopause, right? Or menopause help for women over 40. And your Facebook group pops up. Like, Facebook is still a search engine. So what are the phrases that people are using to search? So you want to name your Facebook group something hyper specific so that your ideal client, the person that you most can help while they're scrolling, they're going to stop their scroll and they're going to go, oh my gosh, I need to join this group because I do not want to deal with my perimenopausal symptoms anymore. Okay. So next we have the member request questions. So using the member request questions is a really good idea, and it's a way for you to gather intel from the people joining your Facebook group. Now, not everybody's going to answer the questions, and so then it's up to you if you want to let them in or not. You can go and scope them out, make sure they're not a bot, make sure they're a real human, even if they haven't answered the question. As long as they appear to be a real human, I would still let them in. But what questions do you ask? So I'm going to tell you what we advise practitioners and coaches to ask, and then I'm going to explain to you why. So we use the member request questions to gather really good intel from the people that are requesting to join. Remember, these people are prospects. They are potentially ideal clients. And so they could be giving you really good language. They could be giving you really good information as to what's going on with them. So the first question is, what is the main problem that you have been struggling with? Let them tell you. Right? Don't ask them to say yes or no. Let them tell you. What is the main challenge that you've been struggling with? What is the main problem that you've been dealing with? Just because they're in a group for migraines doesn't mean that they're going to answer migraines. You want to see what language they use because that's the language you need to repeat back in your marketing. And then the next question is, how long have you been struggling for? Let them tell you. Don't put 3 years, don't put 5 years, just keep it open-ended. Because again, you want to see, right? You want to see if the majority of the people that you are attracting have been struggling for a month. Likely, if they've been struggling for a month, it's not persistent or painful enough for them to want to take an action now. So you want to see on average, has it been 2 years? Has it been 5 years? Right? This helps you to further build your ideal client profile. And then the last question is, I'm going to read it and then I'm going to explain why we're doing it. So the last question is, if you want to know more about how I help women with migraines, drop your email below and I'll send you details. So what they're going to do is they're going to give you their email, right? So maybe they're already on your email list. Maybe they're not. Either way, they're still going to drop their email if they want to know more. And so when somebody gives you their email in that way, they're more qualified to work with you than if they did it. That doesn't mean that they're going to become a client immediately. It just means that they're demonstrating a higher level of interest, which is good, right? Which means you want to move them into that next stage a little bit faster. You want to give them some nurture content and you want to move them into either some type of marketing campaign or some type of enrollment call faster than if they didn't give you their email. And so an important note here, when people answer the member request questions, they vanish. That intel vanishes after you accept them into the group. You can get it back, but it's difficult and annoying. So for every single member request that you get, take a screenshot and put that screenshot into a folder. And then every single day, what you can do is you can add the person's name and their Facebook handle, and then the answer from the screenshots of the member request questions, you can put it into a spreadsheet. So in your spreadsheet, it can be like column 1, which is question 1, column 2, question 2, column 3, question 3, which is their email address. Right. And then that way you can keep track of the intel that you're getting. And also you can keep track of the people that you've emailed. So just take a screenshot of the member request answers before you let them in, because then they go poof and they vanish. So now we have named it. We have set up our member request questions, and I will tell you what to do with that email in just a second. And now we are going to talk about the welcome post. And so when somebody comes into your Facebook group, the first thing that they should see is a welcome video and a welcome post from you, which you can also pin to the featured section. So that would be like the getting started, the first thing that they see from you. And so in that post and in that video, you want to introduce them. You want to be smiley. You want to be bubbly. You want to say, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to the perimenopause support group for women over 40. You know, if you're anything like me, you woke up one day and was like, what is happening to my life? What is happening to my body? So I'm so glad that you were here. You want to make it bubbly. You want to make it friendly. Remember, 99% of the population, social media is a place where people go to be social and they go to engage. They're not going for theoretical lessons on hormonal balance, right? They're going to get some tips, to get some tricks, to engage with you. So in that welcome post and in that welcome video, you want to make sure that you're introducing yourself, you're sharing a little bit about who you are, what you do and who you serve and how you help. And I have a bonus for you. If you want a template, I actually put a downloadable PDF. You don't even need to opt in the description of this video. So you can just go and click it and download it. It is the video script and the caption that you can use for your welcome post inside of your Facebook group. So you can go and download that now. So you're having your welcome post. It's the first thing that they see. And then the next thing can be the guides. So you might have to set these guides up. If you don't see them in your Facebook group, just Google how to set up guides in a Facebook group and you will find a YouTube video that walks you through how to set up guides in your Facebook group. And so I want you to think about the guides in your Facebook group as your nurture sequence. So when somebody comes into your group, in the video, you're going to say, okay, here's where you start. I need you to go through the top 3 guides because that's going to give you some resources. It's going to give you your next steps. They're in your group to get something, a fix. They do not want to suffer. They do not want to have the painful problem anymore. And so you don't want to just have them come into your group and flounder. You need to direct their experience. And so in the welcome post, you can add in, and maybe you don't have this ready right away. You can always go in and edit the welcome post. It's fine. You want to direct them to the guides. And so guide number one could be guide number one is about you. It's your story. That's guide number one. And then guide number two is who you help. And then guide number three is how you help with client wins if you have them. If not, it's just the protocol of like, how are you helping? Like what is it like to work with you? And so that way when people come into your Facebook group, they're seeing this, they're seeing your face, they're seeing how happy you are, and they are being directed to the next step, which is the guides. That is how you would set up your Facebook group. And then the last part is the client getting strategy. So if we go back to the beginning, what is the intention of your Facebook group? Is it to grow your audience? Is it to nurture? Is it to get clients? Probably all of the above. And so then the question becomes, okay, well, how am I going to grow it? How am I going to nurture the people? And how am I going to move them? Right? How am I going to move them from the Facebook group into the next stage of my lead to client journey? And so that really depends on what your lead to client journey is. Mine is moving them, and they don't actually move. They still stay in the Facebook group, but they take a next action is probably a better way to say it. So the next action that someone takes after they get into the Facebook group for me is registering and attending some type of webinar. Sometimes that's a multi-day live course. Sometimes that's a live webinar. Sometimes that's a recorded webinar, but I need them to consume my content. I need people to consume my training before they hop on a call, because I need them to have a better understanding of what their problem is and what they need in terms of help and support to get to where they want to go. And so we don't go right from the Facebook group to a call unless it's requested. We take the people in our Facebook group and we move them to the next stage in our lead to client journey, which is some type of marketing event. And from the marketing event, I book calls. Do I book calls ever from my Facebook group? Yes. But that is not our first sort of, that is not the first step from the Facebook group. That is not the first step. The first step is to go to a marketing campaign. And so in terms of your client getting strategy, right? You now have people in your Facebook group. They've just gotten there. They don't know who you are. They don't like you. They don't trust you. So how are you going to nurture them? How are you going to get them to the next stage in your lead to client journey? And so the way that I do it is through Facebook Lives. That is where I provide most of my education. I do not provide a ton of education in the form of posts inside of my Facebook group because those don't get engagement. And what I need and what you need is a highly engaged Facebook group. That's what we need, because the more engaged the members are in the group, the more Facebook goes, oh, this is worthy of us pushing it into the algorithm, and it pushes into the algorithm, and then it shows the Facebook group to people that Facebook would think would be a good fit, and that helps to grow your Facebook group. But also because the more engaged your Facebook group is, the more people in your Facebook group see the content. Right? And so I want as many people in my Facebook group engaged in anything, whether it's related to the painful problem or not, whether it's related to how I can help them or not, or we're just chit-chatting about how we're going to do our nails for the summer. Engagement is engagement is engagement. Facebook doesn't know the difference between if they are engaging with you because you educated them on, the phases of liver detoxification, or if you're talking about nails, right? But most people who are on social media are on social media to be social. And so we want to think about ways to engage with our Facebook group members so that it motivates them to be social. So the way that I do it is I educate through my Facebook Lives. And then my content is engagement. It's a lot of open-ended questions. It's a lot of comment this trigger word if you want this free resource. It's a lot of social interaction. It's a lot of personal content. It's a lot of my favorites. It's a lot of venting. It's a lot of content that mimics real conversation in real life. And that way I get engagement. And then when people engage, when my ideal client engages in my Facebook group and they engage on a post where I'm talking about how embarrassing it is sometimes that I have time blindness because I have ADHD, and we're having a conversation as humans around that, then I can message them and say something to the effect like, do you think that this time blindness is affecting your ability to get started with your coaching business? I can find a way to bring it around to how I can actually help them. And so the client getting strategy is to grow your Facebook group, to collect email addresses, which is what you do when you ask them that third member request question, and to spark conversation so that you can move them into the next step into your lead to client journey. And so with that email address that you are collecting in that third member request question, you can have a template that you send to people. You can I would check if that email address is already in your contact list if you're growing your email list, and if not, then you can send them an email from your personal email and just say, hey, I'm so glad that you are in my group. I have this free guide. I don't know if you saw it. I would love to gift it to you. Just click the link, enter your name, and it will be sent immediately to your inbox. That way, you are now getting that new Facebook group member onto your professional email list, because you can't continue to email them from your personal one because it's illegal. And so sending one email is fine, but you want to think about ways that you're going to get people off social media and onto your email list, because that's where you can continue to market to them. And so this is the client getting strategy. It's 1, collect email addresses. It's 2, get them to know, like, and trust you through the welcome video and through the guides. And number 3, create content that does 2 things. 1, educates them, and 2, elicits conversation so that you can then take that conversation and bring it back around to how you can help them, and you move them into the next stage of the lead to client journey. That is how you grow a coaching business using a Facebook group. I know that was a lot. You'll probably have to listen to this a couple of times. There was a lot of strategy in this short video, but this is how I roll, because I've been using Facebook groups for a long, long time, and the strategy really does work when you have it all dialed in. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, and I will most certainly answer them. And if this was helpful, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.